Hello everyone, my name is Fenware, and I am gathered with Terry Candlestick here. You can find both of us on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, and both of us are on Blue Sky.
Indeed.
Have anything to add there?
Oh, that covers everything succinctly, Mr.
Alright. Very good. We had a previous version, which I might keep in the video just, as bloopers. But alright, let's go ahead and get on into it.
Blooper blooper.
The heat is almost unbearable, and my fur is damp from sweat, the skin underneath itching and uncomfortable. I can feel the sun on my face, the brightness turning the insides of my eyelids a dazzling red. I don't want to open them, though. No, I just want to sleep. I almost do fall asleep, but a distant chorus of shouts and screams jolts me back awake. Now I do try to open my eyes, but I can't. It's like they're glued shut. I reach up to paw at them, but my arms won't lift. I must be dreaming, stuck in a paralysis. So I lay there, listening to the shouting and screaming, imagining an angry mob. After what seems like hours, the voices fade and the red turns deeper, darker, blood-like, as if the sun is setting. And that's when I finally drift away, back to sleep. A soft, choking moan brings me back to the surface. I'm still hot and sweaty, but the blazing sun isn't shining in my face anymore. I wiggle my fingers and shift my arms a bit, feeling them glide over fabric. At least I'm not paralyzed anymore. Another moan, followed by a coughing sound, forces me to open my eyes, realizing that it's not part of a dream. I stare up at the ceiling, a textured beige ceiling. I'm back in the room where I'd slept. How long ago? A day? A few days? Doesn't matter because everything comes back to me at once. I feel like a lead weight has just dropped onto my chest, knocking the wind out of me. Fuck. Is this not over? Now I'm starting to become convinced that this is never going to end. We're stuck in a loop, just like in my dreams. Another moan, slightly weaker, makes me sit up and look around the room. I'm alone as far as I can tell. Where are the others? Am I actually alone? I can't stop a soft whimper coming from my mouth at the thought of being separated from the others. I was barely keeping it together with Carl, but without him. A loud cough through the wall behind me makes me jump again. I quickly slide off the bed and immediately cringe as my weight comes to rest on my swollen ankle. I sag against the bed for a moment, squinting my eyes shut as I wonder why my ankle is only getting stiffer. Maybe that fall Carl had taken made it even worse. The thought that those moans could be coming from Carl spurs me to straighten up and carefully hop towards the door. I still have to stifle a short yelp with every bounce, and by the time I reach the door frame, I have to lean against it to catch my breath. My hands shake as I rub my eyes, the pain making me wonder if I'll ever be able to walk without a limp again. Another groan from the room next to me forces me to move again. In the hallway now, I'm able to make out the sounds a bit better and realize it has a feminine quality to it. Jenna? My voice comes out as a crackly squeak and I grunt to clear my throat. Jenna! I try again and wait, but I get no response in return. I force myself to step into the hallway, clinging to the wall for support. When I look down the hall to the door next to mine, I find something very familiar. A damaged wooden door, the middle bulging and splintered out as if something had hit it from the other side. Memories of a bad smell, a dark concrete room, and a noose I hold tighter to the door frame, feeling my knees tremble both from the pain and the fear. I look behind me, hoping to see Carl, maybe even Raven. A shuffling sound, followed by another cough, and a gurgle draws my eyes back to the door. If it's Jenna, I have to act now. I steady myself against the wall as I hop slowly to the door, eyes watering with the pain now. Reaching out with a shaking hand, I start to slowly push at the door. I'm hoping that I might be able to crack it open just a little bit and not draw any attention from whatever is inside. The door only shifts a little, though, and seems to catch on the ground beneath it. It lets out a rough, scratching sound that makes my fur raise up. Gritting my teeth, I forgo the stealthy approach and give it a hard shove. This time it opens halfway and I'm able to see into the room. Just like last time, there's no light coming from within the room itself. Instead, I have to rely on the dim yellow light coming from the hallway. It casts a widening band of light into the concrete room as the door opens. Smell hits me like a wave and I immediately gag, doubling over and pressing my hand to my nose before pulling up the neck of my shirt over my nose. Sure, I smell like BO from the 2 days of running and fear, but it's better than the sweet smell of rotting meat that's enveloping me. Still shaking, I peer into the room while I lean against the door, but I'm only able to see the cracked concrete floor and walls. The grunting and choking sounds reach a peak now, and it's coming from beyond the band of light. It's an inky blackness that isn't all that different from what Carl and I had run through. Hello? No response. It sounds like the grunting has stopped, too. Shit. I have to do something now. I think about just kicking the door open and jumping back, and then I remember there's really nothing I can do with my feet right now. Taking a deep breath, I set both hands against the door. I steel myself for whatever I'm about to see, then shut the door as hard as I can. The door swings in suddenly, scraping horribly against the floor the entire way. I yelp at the suddenness of it all, the tension all exploding out of me at once as I jump back in fear. The band of light widens, sweeping over the entirety of the concrete room before the door finally lodges against the wall with a snapping sound. I must lose my balance, arms swinging around cartoonishly as I try to hop on one foot. At the same time, I'm fearfully eyeing the opening, terrified of what I'm about to see. And what I do see is definitely terrifying. It's Jenna, in the middle of the room. She's hanging from the noose, her muzzle tilted up, so I am able to clearly see the rope digging into the fur around her neck, painfully tight. Her toes are barely touching the floor, but it doesn't even look like she's trying to keep herself up. It looks like she's unconscious. Jenna! There's no response, and I find myself leaping in her direction. I forget about my ankle until all my weight comes down on it twice in my mad dash, and I literally scream as it happens. There isn't any time to worry about it, though, as I grab at Jenna, unsure of what to do. First, I try to wrap my arms around her and lift her up, screaming again as I set my weight down on my foot. She doesn't respond to any of this and just hangs limp in my arms, which terrifies me even more. I reach up and pluck uselessly at the hangman's knot that I immediately know isn't going to budge, no matter how much I pull. Carl! Carl, help! I feel myself starting to panic. Desperately, I look around, trying to find something, anything I might be able to use to cut the rope. Jenna? I call up to her. I can't see her eyes from this angle, but I can't feel any movement in her. I try to press my ear against her chest, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it at the right spot. I try to quiet my breathing and actually listen, but I still can't hear anything. Shit, Carl! I feel myself starting to hyperventilate, and I try again to slow my breathing. If I pass out right now, I'm going to be less help than I already am. The world is starting to take on a surreal tint, and I think I'm actually dreaming. I think about running to the kitchen, but I don't want to let her go, especially since I feel like she's on the edge of dying right now. I reach up again and start trying to worm my fingers beneath the rope, but it's useless. It's way too tight. My eyes start to water as I realize I'm not helping her at all right now, aside from maybe taking a little pressure off her neck. But it might be too late anyway. Help! Suddenly hyper aware of the screaming pain in my ankle, and I feel it giving out. So are my arms, burning with the strain of trying to hold Jin up. I press my face against her chest, feeling myself start to give up on everything. And something clicks in my mind. I'm not sure why or how, but I remember the knife, the one that we had carried through the halls. Was it still out there? It's really my only option now. With a great deal of regret, I let go of Jenna, leaving her to dangle and struggle again, though it's much weaker now. With a sense of urgency like I've never known before, I tear out into the hallway, taking a hard right as I sprint down the hall. I'm not sure where I am, but I'm not sure where I am. I can't remember the setup of this place. I take the first left, and just like that, I see the knife lying on the floor in front of the door we disappeared through. Gasping in relief, I almost faceplant as I bend over to snatch it up, then turn on my heels and run back. When I take the turn again, I see Carl standing at the door, peering at Jenna. Carl! I gasp at him as he moves out of the way as I run into the room. Carl, help me with her. Jenna's not really moving now. Jenna's not really moving, no. And I slash at the rope uselessly for a moment before forcing myself to focus and start sawing at the rope. Carl seems to hesitate at the door. Carl? Carl, help me! Carl walks in, looking at the Fennec before sort of hoisting her up a bit. I saw as fast as I can, but the rope is thick, and it takes a good minute to cut all the way through. I'm a couple of millimeters from the other end when the rope snaps, and the three of us come crashing down to the ground. We lay there in a heaving heap. The only sound is our gasps as we all try to catch our breaths, Jenna being the loudest. After a while, I sit up and look over at her. She's already sitting up herself, one hand on her neck, rubbing at it. Are you okay? I reach out to her. I'm fine. Her voice sounds horrible, like she's completely lost it. She leans away a little from my hand, so I drop it. I thought you were going to die, Jenna. My voice is all shuddery, and I struggle to keep my emotions under control, to not have a panic attack. Whatever was controlling this whole scenario just tried to kill one of us. But then I guess that's already happened with the shadow creature thing, and even with what's happened to Raven. Jenna picks up the knife and brings it up to her neck, starting to saw away at the rope. I can help. She ignores me. I look over at Carl and see he's sitting up, just staring at Jenna. Carl, are you okay? I ask it out of confusion. Why had he just stood there? I don't really want to ask right now, though, with Jenna still trying to get that rope off. Carl raises a hand of acknowledgement. We lay there a while longer, Jenna busy hacking at the rope, Carl choosing to stare up at the ceiling. That almost peaceful silence is shattered as A husky stumbles into the doorframe, grasping the wall as he practically trips in.
Whoa! Hey, guys!
He grins, waving a hand at us as he rights himself. He looks around at us, taking in the scene.
What happened?
Jenna got hanged. We had to cut her down. There's really no other way to. There's really no way to sugarcoat it.
Oh, crap!
He stares wide-eyed at Jenna.
Well, yes, it's surprising it wasn't me this time, huh?
He lets out a high-pitched, nervous laugh. None of us even crack a smile.
You're okay, though?
Fine. Raven looks around the room.
Well, it looks like we're still here.
Carl lets out a sigh.
And that's how it's going to stay if we just sit here.
I frown. Hey, we just went through something really fucked up. We should be able to sit down for a sec.
It's been a second, hasn't it?
He waves his hand at Jenna.
Look what just happened. It wants us dead.
Carl. I trail off.
What?
Carl isn't himself. I already know that. If I had known telling him to let James help us would turn him into this, I don't know what to. I don't think I would have asked him to do it. I don't really want to think. I don't really want to think it, but it seems like he would have let Jenna die if I hadn't been there. The way he just stood there. There's a soft snap, and I look over to see that Jenna's pulled the rope from her throat. How's your neck? Jenna rubs it. Fine. Her voice has an air of complete disinterest despite the situation. She seems distracted, too. Her eyes flicking around at the ceiling like she's expecting something to happen up there. I look up too, but all I see is concrete, that's spider-webbed with cracks. The rope, I noticed, is hanging from nothing. It just sort of grows out of the ceiling. Carl lets out another sigh next to me.
Are we ready to move yet?
I feel a small flicker of annoyance. Can you cool it for just a minute? Carl's quiet for a moment, clearly sensing the change in my mood. I immediately regret it, but I don't have the energy to take it back.
Yeah, sure. I guess we've been sitting around most of the time we've been here. Why not a few more minutes?
I guess he's not really feeling bad about it then.
Actually, why don't we just stay here? Just keep pulling those grilled cheese sandwiches out of the cupboard,
I stare at Carl. But before I can say anything, Jenna speaks up. We're going to get out. Her voice is dark, firm, and completely unlike the way Jenna has ever spoken before. We both look at her and she sits there, legs crossed, staring hard at us. Well, at me. Carl sits up.
John.
Now she does look at Carl, and it's out of instinct, her eyes darting to him before looking back at me. I recognize it as that almost unstoppable urge to look the way you to look the way you to look the way you hear your name being called. Yeah, we're we'd sus- we'd suspected, and Jenna had been acting weird. But to think that she was that consumed by him. Well, Carl is too, so it's not all that shocking. I haven't asked her directly about it yet, so I guess now's the time. Hey, Jenna, Are you feeling okay? I'm feeling fine. It's just that you haven't seemed like yourself for a while now. What do you mean? I look over at Carl as he shifts himself around on the floor to look directly at Jenna. His face is hard, dark. He doesn't say anything, though. I clear my throat. Me and Carl were talking earlier about a presence that he was feeling. Like he felt James talking to him. Sounds like he's going crazy. Carl snorts loudly, but doesn't say anything. Well, it's made him act uh, kind of differently. I glance at Carl, but he keeps quiet. Jenna keeps that stern look on her face, frowning at me. What are you trying to say? Well, do you know a guy named John Begay? Not really. You keep mentioning him, but no one's told me who he is, aside from the fact that he was hanged. I remember the picture I'd taken of John back in Carl's crawlspace. My hand feels my phone, though, through my pocket as I almost reach in to pull it out before remembering it's dead. He was in some of the pictures with James Hendricks, the founder of the town. Jenna stares at me blankly. James was Carl's ancestor, right? We think that John was your ancestor, too. He was a fox and has the same last name. So? So wasn't your family an echo since the beginning? Yes. So it seems like you're probably related to him, right? Jenna stares hard at me, then at Carl. Our family doesn't have records like yours, Carl. Carl gives Jenna a deadpan look. I butt in. See? Jenna doesn't talk like that. You wouldn't say something like that. Jenna doesn't say anything, keeping her glare at Carl. What I'm saying is that John is in your head, kind of like James is in Carl's. I don't think so. I sigh loudly. Something's different with you. It's obvious. We can all see it. Raven suddenly cuts in.
I mean, I don't know you that well, but if we're going by how a normal person acts, you're not acting very normal.
We're not in a normal situation like that, are we? We all go quiet then. Besides, this isn't about clearing James's name or whatever. Why are we talking about John? Jenna stares at Carl, eyes moving across his face like she's searching for something. Carl stares hard right back at her. Besides, if he's not fighting it, why should I? Jenna's expression remains emotionless. So, are you possessed, I mean? Jenna goes quiet again. I rub my face hard with my hands. Apparently, she's not going to confirm it, but I think it's pretty obvious. So what the hell am I supposed to do with two possessed friends on my hands? It's not me you have to worry about, Chase. Carl and I share a look. Jenna, what do you mean by that? A strange look crosses Jenna's face, breaking out of the stoic detachment that she's been portraying for the last however long it's been. It's confused, but it's also like she wants to say something with her mouth open. Jenna? She seems to be frozen like that for a moment, before she seems to finally give up, shaking her head. I don't know. She glares at Carl. Carl glares right back. This time Raven cuts in before Carl can say anything.
Is something stopping John from saying something?
I watch Jenna closely, and that's when she finally looks away. I don't know. Jenna, or Carl, are John and James upset with each other? Jenna shrugs, not looking at me. Carl lets out a sigh of frustration.
Ugh. What we need to do, what we need to be doing, is figuring out how to get the hell out of here.
Listen, I don't know much about these guys, but it sounds like James and John are trying to tell us something.
Raven looks back and forth between Carl and Jenna.
And trying to stop the other from telling us something else.
I rub my face with my hands again, feeling frustrated, just wishing these two assholes could tell us what it is they want to say. So, they're trying to tell us something about the past, and they both don't want us to know what the other knows.
Maybe that's what we're supposed to figure out.
So it's not as simple as just clearing James's name. John has something to say too, but he sure as hell wants us to hear it. Carl, or James, do you have something to say? Carl says nothing. I close my eyes. Fine. So we're stuck in the middle of a possessed ghost fight, and neither one of you are going to talk about it. I really don't have anything else to go off of. Maybe. I try to think back and think aloud, talking towards Raven, since the other two don't seem interested in helping. So when I was doing my research, they both got convicted of sodomy. John was hanged, and James left to start his ice cream business.
Why wasn't James hanged too?
His influence in the town, probably.
Well, I can see how that might cause problems between the two of them.
I look over at Carl, who's still looking at Jenna. Jenna is picking at the rope in her lap. There isn't much more to talk about at this point, unless one of the spirits decides to do something else that can help us along somehow. So, what are we supposed to do next exactly? Raven points back at the room.
There's a door there.
We all look in the same direction he's pointing. Sure enough, there's a door there. It's a concrete door practically cut out of the wall. It's featureless aside from a rusty metal handle. What? Was that there before?
I think I would have seen it the first time I looked in.
Jenna stands up, taking a few steps towards the door. Carl stands up abruptly as well, following her. Jenna hears him and suddenly runs towards the door. I stand up too. Wait, guys, maybe we should... Jenna reaches forward to grab the metal handle, and before any of us can say more, she yanks it open. A trail leads to the desert landscape, and cacti and boulders obscure my view on either side. The ground is rocky, and dust kicks up with each step I take. As I continue up the path, I can see the 3 peaks of the Casa Demonio mountains in front of me. I'm heading towards the town of Echo, just over those mountains. As I get closer, I notice that the trail branches off towards the side of the mountain. I follow the trail with my eyes into the hazy distance, almost disappearing into the heat waves. Still, I can make out a small dark hole. The mine. Some things should just be left alone. Dust swirls silently at the mouth of the mine, almost sparkling in the bright noon light. Every single person here. Something seems to pulse out of the entrance, sending an almost visible wave through the air. You will never escape. You always come back. Red seeps from the hole, running up the side of the mountain in a wave, turning rock and dust the color of blood. You will always be running in circles. I start jogging up the trail, panting in the desert heat, not sure what I'm doing. The sky in front of me lights up the sky in front of me lights up that same ominous red color in the direction of Echo. Somehow I'm able to scale the side of the mountain in just a few seconds. I get to the peak and look over the edge. I see the town, but it's not the town I remember, at least not all of it. Lake Emma is in the distance to the left. The motel and supermarket are to the right. But the ruins by the lake aren't just old foundation remnants anymore. They're fully standing now with their log walls and roofs. Several dozen more houses run up the side of the lake, standing in stark contrast to the more modern buildings further away towards Main Street. There are even a few buildings that I don't recognize, and there, just below me, is Carl's house. But it's different. The mansion is bigger, the walls are lighter color, it looks older. Somehow I'm already there. Like I just teleported straight down to stand on the road in front of Carl's house. I stare down the slope towards the town, and there, next to the road, is a wooden platform built out under a tree. There's a rope hanging from the tree, a noose. I look back down at the town, at all the different buildings. No matter which structure I'm looking at, one thing's the same. They're all lit up in red. They're all lit up blood red. I watch as what looks like spinning blades come slowly into focus above me. I tense up but only for a moment as I realize what it is. A ceiling fan. Wait, a ceiling fan? Isn't that... I sit up quickly, only to immediately swoon as the room starts to spin around me. I grip onto whatever I'm sitting on, and it happens to be soft and smooth. I look down and see that I'm on top of a blue comforter. To my left, Jenna, Raven, and Carl are stretched out next to me on a king-sized bed. To my right, sunshine streams in from sliding glass doors, outside of which is a massive deck. Past that porch are the mountains and desert of Echo. We're back. Oh my god, we're back. Guys! Guys! I shake Carl next to me. He immediately swings a hand to slap at me, but I persist until he's forced to sit up, glaring around. Jenna and Raven stare next to him.
What happened?
Guys, we're back. We're in your house, Carl. Carl finally snaps his eyes open at that. Raven sits up next to Carl, and I see him sway with the same dizziness that I had earlier.
Where are we?
My parents' room.
A relief like I've never known before flows through my body. Whether or not it was a dream, or a hallucination, or we were drugged somehow, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're home. Well, in Echo, at least. I look over at Jenna, hoping to see her back to her old familiar self. but I find her staring around suspiciously, that dark look still in her eyes. Carl isn't much better. His eyes also open. His eyes also on Jenna with a similarly dark look. Maybe that would take a long while to wear off. I slowly push myself off the bed, the height of it making it more difficult for my feet to reach the ground. I touch down with my good foot, and I'm a bit surprised when my toes come in contact with the cold, hard wood floor. I thought this room had carpet the last time I was here. I look back at Carl and see the fur on his brow crinkling up at the bright sunshine.
Something's off.
What?
Something's wrong.
I feel the beginnings of that sinking sensation in my chest again. Why?
The room's too big.
I look around. I guess it looks a bit bigger than usual. The balcony seems to be the right size, though.
The floor.
He points at my feet.
Where's the carpet?
Carl
Informs.
conforms.
Informs your
Carl
suspicions.
confirms my suspicions. The dread continues to grow in my stomach.
Maybe they took the carpet out while we were gone.
No one responds to that ridiculous idea. Jenna looks at the wall behind the bed and reaches out a hand to touch it tentatively. Carl pushes himself off the bed, his hooves clopping loudly, unnervingly against the hardwood floor that shouldn't exist. Fuck!
Yeah. Fuck.
He reaches out to give me some support.
Well, look.
Everyone has a turn.
Everyone
Jenna
has a-
turns.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jenna turns to us. Fuck!
Well, maybe there are other people here.
Well, here we are.
Well,
Even Rave.
here we are. Even Julian's here. Well, look.
But Julian's possessed by something.
Everyone just kind of slides in. The entire team just like comes in. Oh,
Yep, TJ comes in. Hey guys.
Fuck.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Fuck.
guys.
Oh,
Fuck. Oh, God.
I'm-
TJ cussed.
what did I say? Even Raven's cheerful tone is forced and strained. I guess I was expecting that we'd end up in another dream world or whatever. But the fact that I thought for just a moment that we were back in the real world has made this all the more soul crushing. It feels like those fucking ghosts are toying with us at this point. I take a deep breath, willing myself to not lose it. Not yet, at least.
let's move to the deck.
I get a better grip onto Carl's side as he starts to move towards the glass doors, his hooves clopping while I hop along. He stares out, slowly reaching up with a hand to tug at the handle. To my surprise, it opens. I guess I thought that it would be the same as the last place we were in, that we'd be locked in or something. I follow Carl as he steps out into the balcony, taking slow, careful steps, as I'm afraid that the deck may give out. The air is hot and heavy, almost humid. That isn't normal in Echo at all. Sure, it would get really hot, but it's a desert. Humidity is near non-existent. We reach the railing and stare out at the town below the foothills that Carl's mansion sits on. I take in a soft breath. Just like in the dream I'd had, the ruins of Echo aren't ruins anymore. Dozens of old-fashioned wooden buildings dot the edge of the lake. A little ways away, I see the familiar buildings of the motel and supermarket, along with the small neighborhood of my childhood. And along Main Street, I see a few buildings that I don't recognize. Not quite as old-fashioned as the buildings along the lake, but still pretty old-looking. Carl lets out what could be a grunt next to me. What do you think? That's when something clicks. I move closer to his side, putting my shoulder against his. Listen, I saw this in a dream, and I think they were trying to tell me something.
What dream?
A dream I had before I woke up. I have them almost every time we pass out. Why are you the only one having these dreams? I jump as Jenna speaks right behind me. I turn around, finding her eyeing me suspiciously. I don't know. None of you had any dreams?
I did.
Raven pops his head from around the glass doors, still with that bizarrely resilient grin on his face.
But it was about that black shadow creature thing chasing me through the kitchen. So, I guess it's not really useful.
What did you see in your dream, Chase?
Well, this. I wave my hand out at the alternate reality town. But then the mine, too. Like, bread stuff spread out of it over the town. Then I saw a noose. I instinctively look over the edge of the balcony down towards where I remember seeing the tree. Carl looks too.
What is it?
Well, I saw a tree with a noose on it. Carl looks slowly back up at me.
Down there?
I think so.
Was anyone in that noose?
No, it was empty. It seems like Carl should have something to add to that, but he doesn't say anything more. I take a deep breath, trying to put what I feel into words. That dream, the way it zeroed in on the tree, it felt meaningful. I think we need to go to it.
Why's that?
Carl narrows his eyes at me, and I feel like he's putting me under a magnifying glass. I don't know, but I don't see where else to start. This place is massive.
You're thinking there's a letter there?
Maybe?
Guys?
I turn around. Raven is still standing by the glass door, but he's looking back into the room.
Gina left.
What? Sure enough, Jenna's nowhere to be seen. Where did she go? Raven shrugs.
Stairs, I guess.
Was she going to the tree? I'm grabbed from behind by Carl, roughly, and he starts pushing me along. Carl? He doesn't look up. Carl, we need to keep moving.
Come on, we both know she's not right in the head right now.
Neither of you are, I don't say. I'm glad he's moving us along, but I don't like the dull look in his eyes one bit. Raven, Carl, and I head down the hall towards the stairs. Carl's right. It's like a dream of Carl's house. Carl mentions that there are a few extra doors, all of which lead into bare hardwood floor rooms. Ground level of the house the ground level of the house, though, looks mostly normal. As we make our way through Carl's sort of home, I realize something. You guys hear the trains when we were on the deck?
Maybe. Why?
I thought I did. Just kind of weird. Like, what are those trains doing in a world that isn't real?
Maybe it is real.
Maybe. I'm not convinced. As we pass through the living room, I can see that it is set up like it always was, and the kitchen looks to be in order as well. As we step outside, I notice that the mansion looks the same for the most part, not the massive old look that it had in my dream. I hop along down the curving driveway from Carl's house like I remember in my dream. How Jenna would be able to find the tree on her own is beyond me. The only indication I had given her as to where it was a glance over the railing of the deck. This place feels so close to being home, but none of it is home. I slow my pace as I turn right and at the end of Carl's driveway, but the ram starts tugging me along. We move the short distance down the road, then move to the edge on the left side of the road. I look down over the side onto the rocky sagebrush covered slope, and there's Jenna. Somehow, she immediately found it on her own. That old rickety wooden platform sits under the tree, and this tree and platform definitely aren't in the real Echo. There are a few scant mentions of a hanging tree in my research. If it was still standing, I'd have gone to get some film for my project. That project seems like something I was working on years ago at this point. I carefully start to climb down the slope, clinging to Carl. I'm about to call out to Jenna when I stop cold. As I moved to the side, the thick trunk of the tree shifted in my field of view and revealed the noose. Unlike my dream, the noose isn't empty. Hanging from the noose is a body. From where I'm standing, I can't see exactly what it is. Its back is to us, and all I can make out is a head, hands, and feet. Some old-fashioned clothes, overalls, and a cotton shirt of some kind. The clothes look worn and old, like they've been sitting out in the elements for years. I stop moving, instead staring at the body. Carl freezes, too, and I can feel his ragged breathing in my ear.
Whoa.
I stare for what feels like an entire minute before I find my voice. Jenna? She's also facing the body, so I can't see her face. But she holds up a hand towards me to quiet me before slowly pacing around the platform. All employees, evacuate the platform. All employees.
All employees.
To the evacuation platform. It looks like she's moving towards the front, so I steel myself and slowly follow her. I don't want to look at the body as I move, but I can't tear my eyes away. It's old. Very old. The fur is mostly gone, the skin underneath black and leathery. The face is drooping and sunken, the eyelids closed. It's been out in the sun for a very long time. I don't know much about corpses, so I don't know how long. I just know it's been a very long time. From what I can tell, it's a canine of sorts. A fox? John? For some reason, I look towards Jenna to see if she'll let us know who it is. She doesn't, instead just staring at the body. Carl tightens his grip around my shoulders. I'm not sure if it's for support against the uneven ground or the horror in front of us. Raven has chosen not to follow. Instead, he stands back behind the platform, looking away from the body. I swallow hard, trying to keep my nerves under control, trying to look at the situation like it's a simple task. Do you guys see anything? A note or something? I tried to search the platform and avoid looking at the corpse.
The mouth.
Carl points up at the corpse. He's right. There's a flash of white in the mouth of the corpse, just barely sticking out from what look like gnarled teeth. A piece of paper, maybe? I'm surprised at how successful I am at keeping my voice calm. I sort of feel a little numb to it all now. But I think we both realize at the same time what this means. That we're going to have to actually get that piece of paper.
Such a tedious way of telling us things, hmm?
I glance at Carl. Yeah, kinda. Should we go up and grab it? But as soon as I talk, Carl's making his way towards the platform, dragging me along like I'm an afterthought. Hey, I think Chase should get it. He's the one having all the dreams.
Shut up, Jenna.
Whoa, Carl! He clops his way up the steps, and I feel Jenna hovering behind me like she wants to follow but can't. I let Carl hold my hand as we both move towards the platform over uneven ground. I notice Raven standing off to the side, still facing away from us. I'd have to check on him later. The wood creaks softly under our feet as we make our way up the steps. I focus on my hopping foot, not wanting to look at the body. Once we reach the top, though, I realize that I'm going to have to. Leaning heavily against Carl for support, I look up. The corpse's eyes are open now. Two yellow, piercing eyes that are sunken deep in the skull stare back at me. Uh, uh, uh. You are disgusting. I'm disgusting? You are abhorrent, despicable, horrible. What telling truths? What telling your own truth? You don't know my story, my truth. Your truth is a delusion. You cruel, filthy son of a bitch. What do you want from me? I want justice. And you and your people don't know the meaning of the word. Just let me rest. Let me rest. And you leave me restless, murderer. You may not have killed me physically, but you murdered my life, you fucking. The altar hears us. So, if he hears us, then it wants him to. Why does it? You think I know? You think I know? Why does it create these places? Let us do small things, then take it away. It's a game. My life, my reputation is a game to it. A game. Go on. Why don't you tell him the truth? The altar works with you. I wouldn't help him even if I could. But you can't, can you? You are but smoke. Good thing, too. You and your fucking lies. I will tell him this. Otter, you are stuck here because you cannot see the truth until you do. And until you do, how will he know the truth if you only lie? You are disgusting. I'm 9 or 10, and I'm sitting under a tree in the forest. I like the feeling you get when you're finished crying. The stuffed up nose and throbbing in my head, along with the feeling of just having run 10 miles. Like I've just finished something really hard and now it's over. And then a creak in the branches above me. I look up and see a fox hanging from a rope. His dead eyes are on me. Wait.
He's been yamshed.